Ciao Internet Accent here, and today we're gonna analyze an article by the magazine GQ. It's very weird to me. It's not something that I'm used to like read or something like that, but they released this article here which piqued my interest very much. And they're talking about so they made a list of top 100 games of all time, and I've seen the voters on this list. There are many like journalists, like video game journalists from different outlets, and even devs and stuff like that, but it's very difficult to make a list like this, and I'm not gonna like watch it all, like read it all with you, all the 100 games. I want to just focus on the top 10, which is very difficult, right? It's very difficult to identify the top 10 video games of all time, and it is something that probably every gamer has its own, because it is something very personal, very subjective. But I guess they tried to make it based on like the game's critical acclaim, success, like sales numbers, cultural impact, and all those kind of like aspect of it. But in my opinion, the real problem with this kind of list is they like kind of miss, sometimes they miss some of the more important aspect of video games. Which is very tied to the game design itself, and many things are often overlooked just because the games sell well and do well, like critically. But this is gonna be one of my video, right? The controversial, stupid Italian guy ideas, right? But I don't care. I'm here to complain about stuff all the time, and I wanna just take a look at the top 10 and see which one I agree with and which games I really don't agree with being in the top 10 greatest video games of all time, right? Based on my knowledge of these games, because I didn't play every one of these games, but I played some of them. I think I played everyone like by to some extent, but let's try and dive in a little bit. So I'm not gonna say much about the games which I agree with, but I'm gonna say something with the games that I don't agree with. So please bear with me a little bit. So coming in at 10th place, Half-Life 2. I played the game. I liked the game. I played it when it came out. It was very good. It had really nice storytelling for a shooter, some very clean mechanics. The source engine was really good looking at the time, and also very like easy to run. So yeah, not complaining. I'm not saying that when I'm not complaining about a game being in the top 10, I'm not saying that the game would be in my own top 10. This is not what the video is. I don't wanna. This is not a video in which I make my own top 10. Maybe I will in the future. It's a very difficult task for me. It's not something that I can do on the fly. I need to think about it really hard. So this is just what I think about this specific top 10. So nothing to complain about Half-Life 2. It has a cult following. Everybody's waiting for the third that is never coming out. So I guess it's all right. So the first, Dark Souls. I tend to agree. Yeah, I tend to agree for the first Dark Souls to be in the top 10 video games of all time, because it's even though there was Demon Souls before that, I think Dark Souls is the game that solidified that formula for From Software, and it did it in a way that it almost became mainstream. It's the game that like started the trend of From Software games being like widely recognized and appreciated by the bigger audience, right? So it is a game that deserves to be here, and I think of the Souls likes, of the Souls games, probably still the one that has the best level design. Combat was not perfect. Combat is still not perfect in Souls games, but it is very distinctive. It is a very distinctive combat that everybody tried to basically copycat from Dark Souls on. So I think it deserves to be here. Art direction super good. Sound design excellent. Yeah, all in all, legendary game for sure. It probably would be in my top 10 as well, probably. Portal 2. Yeah, another Valve game. It probably wouldn't be in my top 10. I guess I can see how this game can be in a top 10 video games of all time. The game design is very clever, and the Portal 1 was also very clever, but Portal 2 like elevated this kind of game design like to the fullest, to basically another level, and it deserves like to be recognized as some of the most ingenious game designs ever made. I'm not sure if it's all the check marks for me to be a top 10 games of all time, but you know, and I have nothing to complain about it being here. So I guess Portal 2 is okay. And up until now, you can say that I'm agreeing with this list here for the time being. Let's see what happens. Metal Gear, yeah. I played Metal Gear 1, but I didn't completed it. I didn't finish it, so I cannot say that I'm like the biggest. I cannot say that I'm a biggest Metal Gear fan as a whole. I think that Metal Gear, especially like the only recent one I tried was the last one. I don't remember its name, but the last Metal Gear game I tried it, and I'm not very fond of the mission structure with the votes, which is very Japanese, a very Japanese way of doing game design. And I really don't like the control scheme for Metal Gear, for the most recent Metal Gear game. Clunky commands, like clunky controls, were kind of like something that we were used to back in 1998. There weren't many games that really controlled very smoothly and well. So at the time, I think that clunky controls weren't an issue really. But by today's standards, the newer Metal Gear games have that issue, in my opinion, which is something that Kojima solved in Death Stranding. It's not perfect, Death Stranding, as far as like controls, but it's much better than the last Metal Gear, in my opinion. And but I don't remember much of the first Metal Gear. Maybe I need to revisit it. But from what my friends, a lot of my friends that I really trust, say to me that this is a really good game that deserves to be like in the top games of all time. I don't know top how much, but everybody who really loved this game tells me that it's a great game. So I apart from the fact that I remember it having like very clunky controls even for 1998 standards, I don't have much like information and memory of this game to say much more about it. So I'll probably leave it there without saying much. Mass Effect 2, great game. Amazing game. This game, well, my favorite Mass Effect is actually the first one, even though it has a lot of problems like inventory management issues, UX issues, control issues, which are very, very important to me. So I would say that even though so the thing is, I have more memories about the first one because it was a novelty to me and the story was so impactful to me, that the second one feels like a little bit less of a strong memory in my mind. But as far as game design goes, Mass Effect 2 is much better than the first one. It solved most of the issues of the first one. So, and it was a super fun game. Story was great, characters, excellent cast of characters. The final mission in which you decide who gets to live and who gets to die is breathtaking to say the least. So yeah, this would probably be in my top 10 as well, or very close to it. So yeah, can't say much about this one either. Okay, now this is when I become controversial for most of the people, right? So this game, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, for me personally, would be very, very low. Much lower than this. And I'll tell you why. I tried to play this game more times than I can remember. So I really tried hard, and I just couldn't like get it. I just couldn't get into the game. It didn't click with me, and the main reason why it didn't click with me is controls, is the combat, because yeah, it is an RPG. You have to speak with people, like make decisions that influence your journey, and do other stuff, and make potions and craft and all that kind of stuff, and explore. So the world is very beautiful. It's nice that you can like explore it freely and talk to people and do stuff, and also like yeah, I guess all the side quests are really like more intricate and complex than in other games like this. So I get why so many people like the game, but in my opinion, the combat system really kills the game, because combat is a big part of this game. And I think even though people really like this game, I'm not the only one that thinks that like the combat as it like was designed by the dev studios, is not good, because there are so many mods like that aim to improve the combat, the feeling of the combat, and the responsiveness of the combat and stuff like that. I don't think I'm alone in saying that the original combat system is ass, basically. I don't like it. It is unresponsive. It's difficult to aim at stuff. It's difficult to make Geralt do what you want him to do. And also, in my opinion, there's a big bloating of mechanics, of like stuff to do in the menus. In my opinion, there's a lot of stuff that like just didn't resonate with me, all the making potion stuff and managing inventories, and also the UX of the menu is not great, so that kind of makes all the other activities that you have to do inside the menus very clunky and not pleasant. Also, there's something about Geralt that I don't like, which is he is just too cool for its own good. It's not a relatable character to me, because he's just too cool. It's a cool dude, looks cool, does cool stuff, never gets something wrong. I don't know. There's something about him that makes it not as relatable and as I would hope to, basically. And yeah, the game just didn't click with me. And I'm not saying that this game shouldn't be here for everybody. I'm just saying that it's not here. It wouldn't be here for me personally, and I think the game has too many flaws for it to be here in my eyes. I think that well, maybe I'm just alone in this because you know it is a critically acclaimed game and everybody loves it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm the weird one, but yeah, it wouldn't have made my top 10 for sure. Oh god. So this is the other very controversial one for me. I would have never placed this game in the top 10 games of all time. Never. No. How so? I played this game. So I want to say that, yeah, it is like kind of... also the way that I experience it is not optimal because I played it on PlayStation 4 Pro, which is just a jet engine when you turn it on, and it's so unpleasant, and the games run really bad on it, and yeah, it wasn't a great experience. So maybe that's part of it, but there's something else, which is, I think it's the worst Souls-like from software ever made. Whereas everybody puts it like in the top of these kind of games, in my opinion, it is the worst one, and I'll tell you why. This game has, of course, it has really nice combat. It's a fast-paced combat, like it has many things going for it compared to like other Souls games, especially in the combat design, which I liked. But it has so many other flaws compared to the other Souls-likes that I don't feel it deserves to be here, especially above the first Dark Souls, and I'll tell you why. First, the environments, like the setting, I like the vibe they were going for with Victorian aesthetics and stuff like that, but compared to the other Souls games, is very flat. And not flat in the way that it doesn't have details and stuff like that. No, it is flat throughout the whole experience. You don't get the variety of environments that you get in a Souls game, right? You just don't get it. And it is, I get it. It is like part of the aesthetics decision, like the art direction of the game. Everything very dark. It's very washed up in colors and stuff like that. And it is, I don't know, very samey. But this is something that like really kills, for me, really kills one of the things that I really love about Souls game, which is the discovery of new environments that look very different from one another. Is one big plus for me with the Souls games that this game doesn't provide to me. So this is the first reason why I don't like it, why it's not the best for me. The other thing is also like build variety. Since they focused more on the intricacies of the combat itself, they didn't spend too much effort and time into developing like the other phase of Souls game combat, which is build making, right? And so you don't have as many weapons, as many armors. There is kind of limited in what you can do, and that's something also that really that I really like about Souls games, is that that variety, the thing that you can you explore environments in the search of new weapons that you've never seen before, that maybe do something special and something like that. And this is something that is missing in this game because it has a different focus, right? But in my opinion, the problem is this is halfway between a Souls game and Sekiro, right? Because it has a more focused combat like Sekiro, but it has less impactful exploration and variety. And in my opinion, the best. I don't know how to say that, but it's the best not really Souls game that From made is actually Sekiro. So I would have placed Sekiro here instead of Bloodborne like 10 times out of 10, because Sekiro is actually one of the best action games I have played in my life. So I would have probably like placed Sekiro somewhere around here instead of Bloodborne. And also, the other problem with Bloodborne, which is probably very controversial to say again, it's that it's too simple. It's too easy. I don't know why. This game is too easy. Everybody says that this game is difficult. It's not difficult at all compared to other Souls games. Probably because you can do so much more with the combat. It's so much easier to do stuff. It's more responsive than usual Dark Souls games. So probably like the Souls games have enhanced difficulty based on the fact that the combat is not that precise and responsive as this one is. So when you play this game, when I played this game for the first time, I basically killed all the bosses on first try. Almost all of them. The ones that I didn't do on the first try were something that some bosses had that's like weird mechanics that I didn't know of the first time around, and then once I got the mechanics down, it was a piece of cake. So this is one thing that also like detracts from experiencing this kind of games. It's that the difficulty has to be high enough that you can feel a challenge, or else it's just like whatever. And this game is just too damn easy, in my opinion, compared to the other Souls games. So this doesn't belong in my top 10. Like, not in a million years. Okay, so Tetris. I'm not complaining about Tetris. It is such a simple design, but it's so clever, and of course, forefather of video games. More so Tetris than Pong, I would say. So no complaints here. It wouldn't be in my top 10, of course, because I didn't like played so much Tetris in my years, but you know, cannot complain. Alrighty, this is bad. The Last of Us, first one. I didn't play the second one, so I cannot compare the two, but I played this one. Again, bad experience because I played it on PlayStation 4 Pro. The fans were louder than the game, so very obnoxious experience. But apart from that, I don't think this game belongs in the top 10. Not at all. And the reason is very simple. Yes, it is nice. It has a nice story, well written, characters are relatable, very cinematic, all that stuff. Like it was very impactful at the end of a generation and this game like showed, as far as like visual fidelity, showed that those consoles had still something to say, which is important, but there's no gameplay. It's as simple as that. There's no gameplay. The gameplay loop is very simple, super simple. It has nothing to go for it, nothing innovative, nothing different from any third-person shooter. Nothing fun about the gameplay. It's the only thing that like keeps this from being just an interactive movie. And I watched the TV show. It is very good, but basically it is as good as the game is, in the sense that this is basically a TV show. It's not a game to me. When I was playing it, I was like doing the gameplay parts in such a rush because the only thing I wanted it was to get to the next cutscene and see where the story went. basically. There's no gameplay. There is some gameplay, of course. I'm not saying that there is no gameplay. It's not like a telltale story or something like that. It's not like that. But there is not enough gameplay for me to represent the media of video games in a top 10 of all time, right? Not even close. This is one of the many PlayStation exclusive games that, in my opinion, like had too much critical acclaim for their own good. Because a game like this, you can definitely like expose its flaws in the gameplay department really easily, and I don't think this is like the masterpiece that people make it to be. Do not deserve to be here, especially like in the top 3. Not even close. So nice story, nice interactive story. Kind of a middle of the road video game, in my opinion. And we get to the number 1. I really cannot complain about Zelda being here. The Breath of the Wild is super good. Really a really great way of redesigning open worlds, to rethink about how open worlds should operate. And this probably wouldn't be my first one, because I really like the game, but I don't like the aesthetic of it. I'm not a big fan of it. It's just a style preference, but it is a great game. Really good mechanics, really fun, and then the new one is even better. So I wouldn't complain for Zelda to be here, but it wouldn't be my number 1. But great game. Nintendo does magic sometimes, and this is one of them. My top 10 would probably look very, very different from this one, but my main gripes here are The Last of Us, Bloodborne, and The Witcher. These 3 would never belong in my top 10 in a million years. So that's my take on this article. It is fun. It is fun when like big media outlets like GQ do stuff like that, just because you can analyze how they see things and how they score things and stuff like that. Also, this has a little bit of credibility, just because people that voted are all in the video game industry in some way or form. Like you can see here, there are some developers, some people from other media outlets that talk about video games and stuff like that. Arcane, you can see Playground Game here. And I've seen in the top 100 a lot of great games that I don't complain about. Yeah, I can't complain about Red Dead. Rockstar Games, in my opinion, have really clunky controls that really hinder the experience. So I wouldn't ever like place them in a top 100, in my opinion. Same goes for the Elder Scrolls games. Bad story, bad controls, bad combat system. I don't know how they get so highly rated. I don't know how. Yeah, this is one that Final Fantasy VII, for my personal top 10, it would be in my personal top 10 just because of nostalgia, because it was my first JRPG that I ever played, and very fond memories of this game. But it is very personal, This game also would have been in my top 10. Oh shoot, this is super good. Mario 64, excellent game. Anyhow, I was gonna only talk about the top 10. So that's my my 2 cents about this GQ top 10 video games of all time. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comment below. And if you like the video, just hit the like button, subscribe if you want, tell your friends about it, and thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Ciao, 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 ciao.